constituent reach out to me who is a senior receiving a rental supplement from the province. This individual lives in a building where several other seniors are also receiving rental supplements. For some in this building, the supplement is paid directly to the landlord, and for others, they receive the amount directly, it is then to be paid to the landlord. Question to the Minister of Social Development and Housing: how do you determine when the landlord is paid directly and when the rental voucher amount goes to the islander?
Minister of Social Development and Housing.
Well, thanks, Mr. Speaker, and that's a great question, because it really depends on the agreements that we have in place with the landlord, how it's funded. We have a variety of different programs, and the official opposition doesn't like our mobile renter voucher program, for example, but that's one that we use to help out a lot of people, including seniors. What I'd like to do is I want to make sure I get all the details right on this, so I'll come back with a full response for you, exactly how we determine that.
Tyne Valley, Sherbrooke.
So again, in this situation, it's the same landlord, same building, different situations for those in the building. Those who receive the money from the mobile rental voucher directly also get a T5007 as a social assistance benefit. Unfortunately, this amount translates into income. Meanwhile, islanders who do not receive a T5007 or those in subsidized housing as well, they do not see any impact on their reported income. Minister, do you see why this could be a problem?
Minister of Social Development and Housing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And so this is a question I've already answered. The member from Charlottetown, Victoria Park, was asking about this, and I've committed, and I know because I've checked with the department that this is not counted as income when we determine what people are eligible for. I made sure that the directors went back and checked this out. We worked with the federal government, and we wanted to make sure that the T5007 amounts did not have an impact on seniors' GIS either. And Mr. Speaker, that's what they say the case is. So there actually isn't an impact on their qualification for any programs. Thank you.
Tyne Valley, Sherbrooke.
Well, there was an impact for my constituent. She wasn't able to access the dental program at the full amount because she received this T5007 as income. So for those who receive a T5007, it affects their eligibility for other programs. Though the voucher allows this constituent to be able to pay her rent, in reality, she doesn't get any farther ahead because she can't afford dental care now. Question to the Minister. Your renter voucher program is making some people ineligible or significantly decreasing the amount they are eligible for through other programs. I'm telling you, this is happening, such as the dental program. Why are you preventing some seniors from getting access to the care that they need, the dental care?
Minister of Social Development and Housing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I'll work with my colleague, the Minister of Health, to verify that this is indeed an issue, and we'll work to fix that. And Mr. Speaker, this is something that I've noticed, and the official opposition has brought up as well, is we need consistency when we look at our means testing and how we apply that across multiple government departments, whether that be environment, energy and climate action through efficiency PEI, whether that be through health PEI, through the dental programs, or into social development and housing. So, Mr. Speaker, I want to work with my cabinet colleagues and see if what approach we can make to make sure that is consistent. Maybe it's a centralized mean testing function, something like that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Charlottetown, Victoria Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm not sure why we haven't done that yet, Minister. My colleagues in the Green Caucus have highlighted the issues with over-reliance on rental supplements as a stopgap measure to address housing affordability. The intent of rental vouchers is to help people with low incomes pay rent that they otherwise cannot afford and to keep them housed. Necessary, and we simply don't have enough government-owned social housing to meet the community need. Question for the Minister: how do you determine eligibility for the rental voucher program versus subsidized housing?
Minister of Social Development and Housing.
Well, thanks, Mr. Speaker. So as the member across probably realizes, we have a housing registry, and the housing registry has specific criteria that people need to meet to get on it. And then what we do is we work with all the people on the housing registry to provide them with housing, and whether that be social housing that's owned by the government, social housing where we have an agreement with long-term lease with developers, or mobile rental vouchers or rent supplements, Mr. Speaker. So really we put the client at the centre, we put the person who needs housing at the centre, and we find housing that meets them, whatever that may be. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Charlottetown, Victoria Park.
Mr. Speaker, and one of the problems is no one knows what the criteria is even for the housing registry. And this really matters. We must take a bigger picture look at how our own policies work against each other. And I believe the Department of Social Development and Housing needs a full review over all programs and services. People are suffering, and they need to know that the programs they receive are consistent and that they will be there when needed. Question to the same minister: why are islanders in subsidized housing treated differently than those who are getting rental vouchers?
The Honourable Minister of Social Development and Housing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And let me say firstly that if the criteria for the housing registry is not readily available, I'll commit here to making sure that it is, because I think people should know what the criteria are, and I think it should be online, at least at a high level. So I'll do that. And Mr. Speaker, I'm not entirely sure that people who are in subsidized housing are treated a lot differently from those mobile rental vouchers, or even unfairly. But Mr. Speaker, the point about reviewing our housing programs is a really good one, and I'm looking forward to working with the department in the near future as we come up. You know, the strategic plans that were in place by the previous administration are coming to an end, and we're developing a whole new set of strategic plans, and I think that's a great suggestion, and we may even engage with the official opposition and the third party as we do that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Charlottetown, Victoria Park.
Had 3 years, Minister. Often we bring forward issues such as this to the Department of Social Development and Housing. They intervene to fix a situation for that one individual. But we cannot fix these problems one person at a time. These are systemic issues, and we need to fix them on a systemic level. We will drown fixing them one at a time. Question to the minister: at what point, when you see the same concerns rolling in over and over, do you look at fixing the problem itself?
Honourable Minister of Social Development and Housing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And this is a point, of course, the member has raised before, and other members. And in our conversations, I mean, one thing that I like to focus is on identifying systemic issues. We of course, do support clients on a case-by-case basis, and we always want to do what's best for the client and help them any way possible. But if there is a systemic issue, that's something that I've directed the department, and that's something that the directors really look for, and we work to fix that. And Mr. Speaker, as we collect the data and we look at these, if there is a systemic issue, we're going to fix it. And I look forward to getting our strategic plans in place, which will include fixing any systemic issues that we diagnose. Thank you.
Charlottetown, Victoria Park.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I look forward to speaking to you more about these systemic problems you've identified at a later time. Exactly. Another way we see income artificially inflated for seniors is when they spend money on improving their homes through the Seniors Independence Program, when they spend money on fixing their driveway, for example, so that home care can access their home. This gets put in their income line and makes their income artificially high and renders them ineligible for other programs. And we've brought this forward many times, and government still stands by this practice. Question to the minister: when will you fix this so that seniors can gain access to services they are indeed eligible for?
The Honourable Minister of Social Development and Housing.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And the Seniors Independence Initiative is one of the programs that I'm most proud of that coming out of the Social Development and Housing Department. It provides money directly to seniors that they can spend with some restrictions, but at the end of the day, we really give them a lot of leeway to spend it on things that they need. And Mr. Speaker, I can guarantee you that the programs within Social Development and Housing, we make sure that we don't include that as income that would disqualify them from any program. That does not happen in Social Development and Housing. If it's happening in other departments, as I mentioned in a previous answer, I want to look at maybe centralized means testing, and we'll make sure that it doesn't happen. Like if it's the dental program, as efficiency PEI, whatever it may be, we'll make sure we address that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Charlottetown, Belvedere.